Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahushai, Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahushai, Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim, Chakodash. The belongs to the apostles, the elders of Great Millstone, True Well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there, you Akim to Sadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. On the pre-Shaman. This is going to be a verbatim show. Pardon me, brothers. Just for the sake of time, I'm just busy, but gotta make time for the work. Unfortunately, I didn't get time to split the app and put the scriptures at top, but this one is going to be entitled "There's a Demon in Your Gut," and this is inspired by the post-camp lecture Apostle Tahad, Apostle Gabar, Apostle Ramlab held at the end of camp, and the spirit just had us flowing, going into all the different health topics, you know, because for the most part, if you brothers ever pull up to New York, you see most brothers are slim. Most brothers take care of themselves. You know, you see the apostles and then slimmed it down too, you know, because really there's no reason for us, you know, in this truth and the type of people we are, all right, knowledge we have to be having, walking around with guts and shit like that, you know, big belly sticking out. Unfortunately, some brothers, that's going on. So guess what? There's a demon in your stomach, brother. And the apostles brought out the picture and everything like that. Basically, a lot of times you're craving the sugar, all right, because that's what causes a lot, the sugar in the form of carbohydrates. Now, carbohydrates is not bad, you know. Depends on whether something is high glycemic, low glycemic, how quickly it dissolves and turns into sugar, because a lot of stuff that has sugar in it could be good for you. But however, let's say, for example, oranges, right? When you have orange juice, all right, you consuming it takes so much oranges to make like a glass of orange juice that you wouldn't normally eat. Let's say 10 oranges, right? So you don't have the fiber there, right? Because it's good in vitamin C, but you don't have the fiber to slow down the sugar. So that's an example, you know, like the skin of a lot of fruits, you're supposed to eat them, you know, so it gives you the fiber, slows down the sugar, but that doesn't really happen much. Consume a lot of sugars. And we're in a day and age, brothers, that's not something you have to do. Acts 7:48 tells us that the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands. In fact, the temple of the Heavenly Father is within us, right? So you have to keep your body, as it describes it in the book of Ecclesiastes, the 10th chapter, as a house, because that's what the word body means, bodag, right? It's a house for what? Your spirit. Okay, so when you are not giving two shits about your health, it's really ungodly, and that's pursuant to the book of Sirach 30:17, right? Because a godly man is going to care about his diet and his meat. Why? Because it's like you're dressing your house nicely, right? You want it to be a nice, blissful house for your spirit, because there's something called a gut-mind connection, right? Meaning your spirit is really affected by, you know, your body, the stuff you consume. You know, there's foods that make you lethargic. There's foods that makes you, you know, just in a fucked up state, and we have to avoid things like that. Now, going back to the lesson at hand, and the apostles brought out, they showed some of these pictures of these parasites when they evolved and developed in the stomach, and they have like faces and teeth and eyeballs. The shit is really disgusting and gross. I know they brought it out before. You think it's Photoshop, but it's real. These are actual demons that's telling you, hey man, go get you like 7 honey buns, you know, or get you a bunch of sweets and shit. And I know that shit's a demon, because sometimes that demon is in my stomach, you know, like I'm just craving nothing but sweets for some reason, and sure enough, it gets me sick, you know, because most of these pastries, think about it, what they're doing, they mix in milk, which is already not good, cow's milk, all right, with fucking sugar, you know. It's like the shit that they feed you in the public schools, cheeseburgers and milk, you know, just that type of shit. Fast food, pizza and milk and sugary muffins and all that type of shit is to destroy you and create more parasites in your stomach to lust after that stuff, because those are what you call empty calories, right? Meaning, when the body is hungry and it wants to get full, it's craving nutrition, right? But these foods are deprived of nutrition, so you eat them, you're not there's no nutrient density in it, so you keep craving it, you keep eating it more and more, and that parasite grows and fester. And you could all trace it back to the so-called white man, all right, because he's a complete devil. Job 9:24 tells us that the earth was given into the hand of the wicked, and if you show this man favor, he shall never be righteous, all right? That's why Matthew, the 24th chapter, tells us that, look, if this man was to continue, all right, no flesh shall be saved. However, for the elect's sake, all right, these days has to be shortened, because the so-called white man is constantly pushing out ways for us to, for him to destroy us, and ways for us to destroy ourselves, all right? I'm not gonna say you're gonna be perfect, brother, but you have to diet and exercise. If somebody say why, then I'm gonna tell you why not. Because yes, the scripture says bodily exercise profiteth little, but it doesn't say it doesn't profit at all, right? Let me tell you something, right? You rather have a phone that's dead, or you rather have a phone with 5%, right? 5% is a little, but you could do a lot with 5%. It's better. It's a lot better than having a fucking completely dead phone, right? So it's the same thing with your diet, your exercise. You have to put the emphasis on it. Yahweh Shem Yahushai is not coming back to deliver to deliver bodies. That we know. It's coming to deliver spirits, all right? So yeah, get right with the spirit by doing the scriptures, the shows, staying in tune, praying and all that, right? Of course, you brothers know that. But guess what? There is a connection between your spirit and your health, man, all right? It's very hard to be in an upbeat spirit when you're sickly as fuck. You see? The scriptures even tell you death is better than a bitter life and continual sickness. So why put your body in that state? Putting poison and pollutants in it, man, for what? All right? And if you tell me everything is poisonous and pollutant, that's a cop-out, you know? Jake be trying to cop out of shit so they don't have to put in the work to take care of themselves, man. All right? Take care of what consume, the shit you consume in your gut. Take care of everything. Your dental hygiene, all that shit, man. We you know, it's like there's a science to all this stuff, and it's fun to get into it, all right, and see what works for the body, coming up with natural remedies, man. Follow a lot of naturopathic doctors, a lot of NDs, all right, because the herbs, all right, ever since Adam fucked up, all right, and went off, thanks to Eve, all right, we now have to rely on these herbs, okay, which the Lord gives us. You know, he didn't just give us for us to look at it. No, these things are supposed to have all the minerals and all the nutrition and everything the body needs to function optimally. Because guess what? We're made from the dust of this earth. All right, every sort of mineral, everything your body is made up of is found in the planet Earth, man. Okay, and guess what? When you die, all that mineral go right back into Earth. You see, the flesh I'm talking about. All right, your spirit goes upwards, but the flesh goes right back in the earth. It goes back into the earth and becomes the things it was made of. You see, decomposes, and you know how the body works, right? So if you are a brother right now, you've been on the heavier side, you got the stomach poking out. Look, brother, you already know you have to work on yourself. Self-examine. You know what I mean? Self-examine. Okay, you can say, man, I don't got no money for a gym, but shit, man, if you got a roof over your head, you got a park. Parks are free, man. There's literally no excuse, man. You know, it's truly up to the individual in the sense of, not in the sense of there's free will, but in the sense of, you know, you could put in the effort, all right, to get rid of the weight and to be mindful of what you eat. You know, the so-called white man is not forcing something on your fucking mouth, man. All right, you have a hand, and you're choosing the goddamn honey buns and the Twinkies and the sodas and shit like that, man, and destroying yourself for what? What's the purpose? You see? All right, man. But we got all into the nutrition. I didn't want to make it a nutrition show because I just don't have the time for it. But we was going into a lot of things, man. A lot of stuff that do well for the body. And I also want to say this before, you know, close, because like I said, it's quick, man. Work, bunch of bullshit. Water, right? I want to speak about hydration, right? If I leave you with this, all right, it's not a mandatory, but do not drink water alone. Do not drink water by itself. Why? Because water is not going to hydrate you. It's going to, in fact, dehydrate you. Why? Because, you see, I just moved my hand to my head. That required electricity, what they call electrolytes, right? And that needs the blood to be filled and hydrated, right? But you need electrolytes to do it. If you drink water strictly on its own, all it's doing is it's going to just leach all the minerals out of your body. It's going to leach all the minerals out of your body, man. Because that's what it do with rocks. You see, that's how come we had wells and all that stuff in the ancient world, rainwater, because that water would leach all the minerals from the rocks, man. All right, and then it enters our body. But guess what? Everything is bleached out. The so-called white man, being the devil that he is, deprived all the water of any minerals. So when you're just drinking water, straight water, you're gonna notice you're gonna start to cramp up. You're like, why the fuck am I drinking water and cramping? If you're exercising, that's because you're not getting enough minerals back in your body, man. All right, you could get electrolytes You can get the electrolyte supplements, the sugar-free joints. They got like natural good electrolyte supplements out there, all right? Or you could just straight use coconut water, salt, and lemons, all right? Hydrate your muscles, hydrate your body, you know? And the science is deep, man. There's so many different things you can do, but the simplest method I could tell you, brothers, is cut back on the sugar, all right? Be mindful of artificial sweeteners, okay? All right? And please incorporate intermittent fasting. You should not be eating 3 times a day, all right? Or having 5 meals and all that type of stuff, because that was something introduced by the Greeks. They used to give the cattle 3 meals a day, and the slaves 3 meals a day. Why? Because when you eat, you trigger your parasympathetic nervous system, which deals with sleep and relaxation. So they saying if somebody could constantly keep eating, they'll constantly be in a state of relaxation and sleepy and drowsy, right? But guess what? When you're in a fasted state, then your sympathetic nervous system is activated. That's your flight or fight response, right? That's what keeps you most attentive. So you should have a period where you're fasting, normally 16/8, in a period of window where you're eating, no matter 8 hours. And then you can step it up if you want from 8 hours to 6 hours of fasting window, all right, to, you know, some people 4-hour window. They eat 2 big meals within that 4-hour window. Now that's the bit, you know, to the extreme end, but you know, if you're exercising, I'll definitely say have an 8-hour eating window, man. Just skip breakfast. It's that simple. Wake up, walk, work out, whatever, because, you know, on an empty stomach, you're going to be burning fat 300% more than you normally would, all right? You wake up, you work out, you do your walk, whatever. It depends on how intensity you want to do it, all right? And you just skip breakfast. Breakfast doesn't equal morning. Breakfast literally means when you're going to break your fast, and that doesn't necessarily have to mean when you immediately wake up. That cut down the sugar and then hydrate yourself. And when you hydrate yourself, make sure it's not water alone. Have electrolytes, all right? And when you're eating, all right, have something fermented, whether it's kombucha or apple cider vinegar, all right? You could do the lemon as well. Why am I saying have something fermented? Because having something acidic will aid your stomach acid and help break down the food, all right? Because a lot of times you're drinking water with your food and you're fighting against your stomach acid. Now, guess what? Your body's having a hard time breaking down the food, and you're not pooping every day. You're supposed to be pooping every day, you know? But guess what? That parasite's in the stomach. Satan is on you telling you, fuck it, I'm going to be out here next year, so why give a fuck? So that's a very simple way of looking at shit, but, you know, I would encourage you, brothers, to do the research, all right? To whoever this lesson pertains to, all right? If you got that gut thing going on, and work on it, man. If you're physically able to do this, you know, if you're physically able to do this, work on that. Work on your diet, your meat, your exercise if possible, man. All right, and battle that parasite, that demon in your stomach. And the reason I had to do this lesson, I'm about to close right now, is because ever since Apostle Elder Tahar say that, every time I'm about to go for a pastry, I see a pastry, I think about that shit. I think about it like that's literally a demon telling me to fucking get this, because there's no nutrients in it. There's nothing nutritious in it. It's just straight sugar. But I'm craving it. Why? Because that demon in my stomach is telling me to go get that. You see? Alright, so with that, look, man, I hope you brothers are edified. I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashim Rakak, that belongs to the apostles and the elders, great millstone, true well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there, you Akim to Sadakim, that do this thing in the most truth and sincerity. Shalom.